Um, okay, so the last 2 weeks we got to watch argue. I don't think there's an argument anymore. The two best players of this generation in Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin. Um, how do you think history is going to judge their time playing against each other?
As one of the great rivalries in the history of the game. Um, we're seeing a guy that's probably going to be considered a top 5 to 10 player of all time in Sidney Crosby. Depends on who you talk to and the players that you have in front of him. But
I
Sidney,
put him at six.
I think that's a real good place to put him. I could see
Yeah,
someone argue 5. Um, what Sidney Crosby has done in today's day and age is just unbelievable. His points per game percentage is just it's ridiculous. He's like at he's at like a 1.3 or 1.4 points per game, close to, and that's nuts in today's day and age. Absolutely nuts. And Alexander Ovechkin, when it's all said and done, even with him not getting the record, I don't think he's going to get the record. I think he might be able to get close.
do
There,
you think he get it? Do you think he gets 800?
yes, that I think he gets. That unless he gets hurt and decides to go back home, I mean, I don't see how he doesn't get 800. I think he ends this season somewhere around, I don't know, maybe 730, close to it. I still think he could score probably another 20 goals. Um, but I definitely think he gets 800, and he gets it probably not the next season, but the season after that if he stays. But you're looking at arguably the greatest goal scorer ever, and somebody who, even though he might not get the goals record, I think the goals per game percentage would be better for him over Gretzky, and I think people will give him the edge because of that. And you're looking at two of the most talented players the game has ever seen, and it was a good time to be a hockey fan to watch him, especially those early years. Oh man, what
Oh God, those early years.
watch, dude. Oh,
They literally did not like each other. And the best part is early on, the NHL marketed that. You remember the All Star game where all of them are in a hotel and Ovechkin is there's a commercial.
Ovechkin in the room
Yes,
service.
yeah, the room service is ordered.
The
It's
center ice
Mr. Sidney
commercials, man.
Crosby.
Oh,
Um, but then when I think about 2009, after they came back from the 3-1 deficit to the Rangers, because I have to torture myself and remember that.
why? Why would you
Um,
do that?
I gotta say it out loud. I gotta present all the facts. But that game two with the dueling hat tricks
With him and
of
Crosby. Oh
Crosby
my
and
god.
Ovechkin. And then the oddest thing, 2011, 2012, that Winter Classic changed the trajectories of both of them for a while. Because Crosby took that hit out
Brooks
with
Light, sorry, yeah.
concussions. Brooks like, yeah. Another guy from the 2003 draft. We'll cover that sometime on this. Um,
Ugh.
but Crosby took that hit. Ovechkin went on to another disappointing playoffs, and Crosby was missing so much time that you were starting to wonder: is he going to be Pat LaFontaine and be out in his prime, where he's still a great player? And then they found out, if I recall, they found out it wasn't concussions that was bothering; it was whiplash.
Yeah.
It was something else completely different, and it's treatable. And since then, I think he's played almost every single game except for I think last year, the last 2 years. Sorry, check that. Last 2 years, I think he missed. Um, he missed like a few weeks, and then at the same time, Ovechkin in 2012 was in a scoring slump. I think he only had 25 that year, and
No,
that was in the Dale Hunter era.
he's never been under 30. Even in
All right.
he's the one guy that, I mean, he could rewrite the 30. He could rewrite the record for most consecutive 30 goal seasons. And
Ironically enough, by the guy he just passed.
yeah, Mike Gardner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could do it. He had I believe he had 33 in 2013 in a 48 game season.
That I do know. Yes.
Yeah, he's not gonna. I'm not going to rule him out from scoring 30 this season because you know how Alexander Ovechkin is. He could just heat up and then just go for game after game, scoring goals, multiple hat tricks, so on. But Alexander Ovechkin, even in 2011 and 2012, had 30 goals. The points went down. That's where, after 2010, here's a fun fact with Ovechkin. After 2010, Alexander Ovechkin has not hit the 90-point mark. He's come a couple of times with 80-something, but he's never hit 90 after that. And he hasn't hit 100 absolutely since 2010 as well. So obviously, but that guy was good for 50, 100 every year. He's the last player with back-to-back 50 goal, 100 point seasons.
By the way, here's a note for everybody watching. If you're ever going to do one of these shows, make sure you take down the right notes. Yes, it was 38 and 27 in 2012. But a lot of people were kind of writing them off after 2012. That there were some coaches that had the scouting reports that said they're just going to scout him for the power play and then that's it. Adam Oates comes in, he has a monster season and wins the MVP again. Crosby comes back. I thought, and I was writing off Crosby after 2015. I thought the Penguins weren't going to be any good. I thought the Rangers sort of messed them up in 2014. And then in 2015, they collapsed down the stretch, despite how close that playoff series was, because the Rangers could never make anything easy for anybody watching those games. Yeah. I was starting to write them off. And then Jim Rutherford comes in, gets Phil Kessel. Next thing you know, back-to-back Stanley Cups for him.
Back-to-back Conn Smythe trophies.
And he's way ahead of Ovechkin. But then that 2018 season comes in, and then they slayed Pittsburgh, and now I think the gap's like a lot closer than what people want to give it credit to be. I'll still put Crosby as, if we do a top 10, me and a friend of mine, we argue about our top 10 all the time. I put Crosby at number 6. I put him right behind Messier. There's other guys that are in that conversation too. Steve Yzerman, Joe Sakic, Maurice Richard. Crosby was that good. He is that good. He was great. He was always a pretty good defensive player too. People never want to give him credit on that.
Modern day Steve Yzerman.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Ovechkin really learned what it took to have to win a Stanley Cup. And that's why I don't put anything by this guy anymore. He doesn't seem to be, I don't want to use the term a joke. Like he was a character. He was like, look, he's jumping all over the ice. Hey, he just scored a goal. Just all the years of him getting close, he eventually figured out what to do. And more power to him. And now I can't help but look at the guy and see that he's a champion.
Well, it's just, that's what that one cup does. It changes everything. And that's why a lot of Ranger fans are sad about the man that's on your wall in the background, Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah.
That cup would have changed everything. I'm not saying that you would have been able to argue him over Marty Brodeur or someone like that, because.
So how much longer do you think we're going to be seeing both Crosby and Ovechkin?
Sidney Crosby, to me, could probably stay around a little longer. If he doesn't get another concussion, I think that he is so good enough and his game is not predicated on speed or anything like that, that he can stay in this league for almost as long as he wants. I think he could play until he's like 40. And I think he could be a real good player until that age. Like, I think he could probably be a point per game player until his late 30s.
And give me a number that Ovechkin finishes his career with.
Goals-wise?
Goals.
840.
That's still impressive.
Yeah.
And I actually, you know what? I'm going to say that there's a legitimate shot for him to beat Gretzky, because right now he still can skate. I think when his skating goes, he becomes Brett Hull. He's going to be, I'm going to float around and find me right there. Bang, one-timer into the back of the net. And
yeah, I was going to say that his skating, I mean, if part of what I was getting at before by pointing out the 100-point stat on Ovechkin was the fact that he has become so much more of a one-dimensional player offensively over the years. Like you knew that he wasn't going to be able to continue to skate around everybody for 15, 20 seasons, but he's become easier to defend against because of that. And he's not a great playmaker. So now you're going to be looking at him like just really like a shooting threat at some point. So I wonder how long he's going to be able to continue that. I say 840 because I think this year he'll probably end somewhere around 730, maybe 735. And then you've got, I would say, 3 or 4 more seasons of at least 30 goals. Like, could he score 40 all those years? Sure, but I don't see him scoring 50 again.
And the other tidbit just to throw in, again, whenever we look at these lists, Wayne Gretzky has more points than any other player in NHL history if he never scored a goal.
Yeah.
And he scored the most goals in NHL history.
Yeah, 894 career goals, 1,963 career assists. If you minus the 894, he's still ahead of Jaromir Jagr by 42 points. And here's the crazy thing about that. Jaromir Jagr has played 246 more games than Gretzky did.
Yeah.
That's 3 exact seasons of 82 games.
And okay, just really quick too, on top of this, if you're watching this right now, first off, thank you for watching it all the way to the end. But secondly, I don't want to hear, oh, look who Gretzky played with. Jagr played with Mario Lemieux.
Jagr played with a ton of talent. Jagr, not only did Jagr play with Mario, Jagr played with Mario Lemieux 97 and 2001. Jaromir Jagr before that played a lot with Ron Francis, who probably is the most underrated player of all time.
Second most assists in NHL history.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody forgets that one.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here, or right here, or right here if I put it over my face.